Starting and running a business is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're an established business owner or thinking about starting a side hustle to earn extra income, I am here to teach you how to show up as your unfiltered self, level up your business, and thrive as a mompreneur. Let's embrace the chaos and start enjoying the journey together. I'm Amy Traw, and you're listening to the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. Today I am talking to Aliza, and we are talking about going from unknown to in demand, which is something a lot of small business owners struggle with when first starting out. It's like we have this valuable service to offer. We have these valuable products, yet getting seen and becoming in demand, it can be a challenge to say the least. So with that being said, Aliza, welcome into the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So excited for this conversation. But before we dive in, can you share with us more about yourself, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Aliza. I'm a former U.S. military I was in the Marine Corps. And then after that, I kind of had to get out because I was 9 months pregnant with my oldest. And I kind of dove into the online world without really knowing what the online world was, only because I was losing my mind, like just going from active duty to like straight stay-at-home mom and had nothing to do except this baby. And then I was just, craving to do something that I felt that I was like fulfilling other than being a mother. So I dove into being a freelance graphic designer, and then that wasn't enough. So I literally started a home-based travel agency, and that wasn't enough. So I started making handmade hair accessories because my daughter did not have hair back then. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna close the gap here, and I'm gonna sell the hair bows that I'm making for my daughter too. So I did that, and as a military spouse, because my husband's active duty as well, in a small community, the other military spouse were taking notice of what I was doing because it was either work on base or MLM, and MLM wasn't really, the whole tactics was just yucky from the get-go. So they were reaching out to me, asking me how I was doing it and all that stuff. So I ended up finding myself like exchanging like coffee dates or like brunch dates, telling them how to, start their business from home. And then someone tagged me as a business coach, and I was like, what the heck is a business coach? And I dove right into that rabbit hole, and I was like, people are getting paid for this? And so I was like, dude, what? And so I went to that rabbit hole, paid for my first coach, and that was the rest of the history.
Isn't it a wild journey, though, looking back at it, going from active duty to stay-at-home mom to running multiple businesses, trying different things. I mean, it's really incredible, though, that you took action and you just did the darn thing. So many times we get so caught up in our brains of, oh, I'm not qualified yet enough to do this, or I can't do that. No, you took action, and I love that.
I went head first. I went head first. My husband's like, what are you doing? What is this coaching thing you're doing? Is that a scam? My parents still think that this is a scam. The only thing that they know that's legit and online is Amazon. So they're like, what are you doing to these people? And I'm like, it's basically college. I'm just not charging, college tuition prices, and I have a specific thing I'm teaching them. And they're like, that doesn't sound, go back to college. Cause I was I was in med school and I dropped out before I enlisted. So they were like, you need to go back to medical school, go finish, like go be a doctor like you said you were going to do. And I'm like, I can't. I can't. So they're like, they're still iffy.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. Yeah. Yeah. My 90-year-old grandma trying to explain to her what I do. She's just totally lost. She's like,
they're like, do you sell things on Amazon? I'm like, no. No, I can, but I don't want to.
Exactly. So let's dive into getting started. So when we're starting out, we often forget we're all beginners. We're all at ground zero. No one knows who we are, that we even offer anything. And I think this is a very frustrating point for so many business owners is they're stuck. They're like, okay, hey, I'm here. So what do you suggest being that first step that a new business owner should take to getting to be seen?
Oh, I love that question. And this is what I love calling like your leverage. And there's three things that you can absolutely do is leverage other people's traffic, leverage people's eyeballs, and then leverage your skill. So those three things can instantly get you from literally being no one online to being seen as an authority because you're getting all these eyeballs that are actually relevant to your industry and not just like posting TikTok here and then having random people reach out to you like, hey, do you do this? Do you do that? No, you're actually leveraging people's audience who are similar to who you're going to target and sell to. And then they just become that whole like referral process people, or they start reaching out to you and like, hey, I saw you do this. I think I know someone, or hey, I saw you from this podcast. I would love to talk to you more about this. And it's literally getting on podcasts like this, or simply going on an IG live with someone who may have a little bit more followers than you and leveraging that traffic and eyeballs. And at the same time, you're leveraging your skill because you're sharing with their audience what you're good at. So that is probably the biggest thing. If I were to start over, I would do exactly that. Get very visible with leveraging the people around me, leveraging the community around me.
Exactly, because there is such a mutual benefit that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think so many times as women, we're afraid to even ask. We're
Asking
afraid
for
to,
help. Oh my God.
yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And we're afraid to even ask, like, hey, I'm looking for guests for my podcast. And so many times there's people that are like, hey, I want to be on a podcast. But
Mm-hmm.
just being willing to put yourself out there and ask,
Yeah.
it is that mutual benefit when you start collaborating with other people because leveraging other people's audiences that are similar to your ideal client, that right there is a game changer. And most of the time, it doesn't
Absolutely.
cost you any money whatsoever. Yes,
No,
it's a little bit of an
absolutely.
investment of time, but
Yep.
that pays off tenfold because now you're
Exactly.
improving the awareness that you exist.
Exactly. And that content lives on forever. Like anyone can Google it. And
Yes.
you could just keep searching you. And I mean, you can pivot, but at least you're there.
Yes,
People see
exactly.
you.
Oh, I appreciate that you said that because so many
Yeah.
times we do think that, like, okay, well, I was doing this one thing, but now I'm doing something a little different. But still, it's showing that you're visible, that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
People Google everything. I know I Google things all the time.
Oh, all the time.
Before I had kids, I grew up in a time where we still had to go to the library to look
Oh
stuff up
my
in the
God.
encyclopedia. So it's like, now the fact that I'm raising kids and literally they're telling me, oh, just ask Siri. She'll know the answer to that. I'm like, what
My
just
5-year-old does
happened?
that. She'll be like, hey Siri. And I'm like,
Like, wait,
what?
wait, what? Back in my day, kids,
I
I
know. I'm
feel
like, back in
like
my
it
day, we still
was
had to type.
right, exactly. So it's just crazy, but that is definitely one of the easiest ways. What other advice can you help new entrepreneurs that are just starting to navigate this?
Oh, I think that's already what we talked about is not afraid to ask for help
Yeah.
because it's lonely in the online space. And as much fun as it sounds like seeing all these Instagram pictures of them traveling, like all these cool, fun stuff, the highlight reel of entrepreneurship. There's the back end, the whole raw thing that goes in the background that no one talks about. No one talks about their failed launch. No one talks about like being ignored. No one talks about those like ugly comments that potential clients have said to you and they're like, I don't want to work with you because I don't know you, I don't trust you, or things like that. Or even like when your website crashed for absolutely no reason and you worked like 24 hours spent burning a candle like trying to make it work and nothing's happening. Like no one understands that part. And just simply like asking and reaching for help to someone like, hey, I really need to talk about this problem because no one understands. It's just simply just building that community around you is the biggest help that I would definitely tell any entrepreneurs to start looking for already. It's like building that community so that you have that support system because it is lonely out here. I mean, it's when the highs are high, it's fun. But when you're in the low and you're in the gut, like it's lonely. You want to talk to someone, you want to share to someone about your experiences, and then they can come in and share their experiences and how you can, you know, pivot out of that or suggest whatever it is, or simply just sharing their story with you simply helps. Like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it. And it just helps like
Exactly.
build that morale in you, and it just empowers you. So asking for help is probably the second thing I would absolutely tell everyone to do, because I did not do that.
Well, I think so many of us, we forget
Yeah.
to do it. And then when people are
Yeah.
willing to help us out, how many times have we been like, no, I'll just do it? No, I'm fine. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a badge of honor being the most burned out, stressed out, overwhelmed mom.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. And especially when you've hired your first employee or your first contractor and you're just like, let me just take it over. Like, back up. That's not your zone of genius. Like, I had to tell myself that. I'm like, why did you hire them if you're just gonna take their job? So I had to go through that mental thing. And I'm like, okay, I gotta let the reins loose, give them
Yes.
the job because that's what I paid them to do. But yeah, it was hard. Even if you're like on your way to scaling and hiring, you still got to learn how to ask for help and actually get the help and receive and be open to receiving that help.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because it can feel super lonely as a
Mhm.
business owner.
Super.
Because a lot of times we think that we're the only one that's had a silent launch, that has a troll, posting a comment. But it's in being in community with others. That right there is the game changer that will propel you because it shows you, number one, it is possible. There is so much proof out there that you can succeed as a mom running a business. It is possible. Is it going to be easy? No. But is it
Absolutely not.
possible? Yes, absolutely it is. But when you have that community around you, that will
Mhm.
get you through those hard times. That will cause you to, have that fire ignited to level up, to demand better, to try different things because so many times
Absolutely.
when you're going through a struggle, you can't see clearly. And it's like you don't see any other options. But just
Hmm.
having someone to bounce those ideas off of, I mean,
Yeah,
that's huge. And I think most of us are willing to help other business owners out.
exactly. It's just asking the help to actually get it. But we're so afraid because they'll think, oh, then they don't know that I know much, or they'll think I'm a fraud, or all these things. But we all started from zero. We all get it.
Yeah.
Like we were there.
Yes. Yes, exactly. We
Let
all,
me help you.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Because it's so easy to forget that we all started at ground zero because we're so often
absolutely.
comparing our journey to someone that's on maybe chapter 20, chapter 50. It's like,
Exactly.
wait, our journey is unique. We all have different circumstances, things we're dealing with,
Hmm.
ages that our kids are. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
things have evolved for me as a business owner now that my kids are both in school full time, and life's going
Hmm.
to look a little different for you because you have smaller ones.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just appreciating, like, okay, I'm going to respect the season of life that I'm in. And there's days
Mhm.
where you're going to feel like, okay, I'm rocking mom life, but I'm not doing so great as a business owner today. And vice versa. Days where you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, my business may be thriving, but I feel like I'm failing as a mom.
And it's totally okay.
Right.
It's totally okay. I
Yes.
had to learn that the hard way. It's okay to not be good at both at the same time.
Right, exactly. Really, for me, the game changer was just learning to be intentional about the time that I do have. So when
Yeah.
I am being mom, I'm going 100% full on mom mode. When I'm
Yes.
in business owner mode, I'm full on in that because I can't navigate both at the same time. I am not a good multitasker. And, I have tried to be for many, many years. I came from a
Yeah.
career where that was praised. It was, you have to be able to do this. You are not allowed to fail. So that's
Yeah.
been a really big pivot for me as a business
Mhm.
owner. Have you experienced that yourself, coming from the military background and now
Oh,
running your own business?
absolutely. Because in the military, you're told what to do, where to be at,
Right.
what time, everything down to the minute detail. They tell you this is everything. And now that I'm let loose in this whole online entrepreneurship, I'm like, someone tell me what to do. I think I did everything. And
Yes.
I'm just like, did I do everything? And then I'm over here like watching TV with the kids. I'm like, did I send that email today?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like going through the checklist. I'm like, I think I did that. Oh, I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. And
Right.
I'm just like going through my head and I'm just like, and then sometimes, like I have my own office here, but like the kids come in and I'm just like multitasking mom. And I'm like, I have to give grace to myself. I'm like, you got kids running around you.
Yeah.
Coaching with a little baby in my boob, like literally breastfeeding during coaching calls. Like I have to give myself grace. Like you're doing it, at least you're doing it. Like it's not
Exactly.
perfect, but you're getting it done, and that's totally okay.
I love that. So, so important. Um, any other last minute tips before we wrap up today? Anything that you would change looking back at your entrepreneurial journey?
Ooh, I think it's just celebrating everything,
Yeah.
even the littlest thing. You got your website to work, awesome, celebrate that. You got a phone call that like a sales call that even though it didn't turn out to be a yes, celebrate it. At least you got someone in the calendar. Like that was a lead. You can get a lead. Do it again.
Yes.
Like every little thing that you can celebrate it. Because I overlooked that.
Yeah.
I was such a perfectionist in the beginning. I'm like, oh, I just had one today. Like, boo-hoo me. But I'm like, that was one person that like knows you exist, bought something from you. Like, do it again. You did it once, do it again. Celebrate that. So anyone else who's starting, celebrate every little win.
I love that.
You got a view on your reel, a comment on your Facebook post, celebrate it. Because when you know how to celebrate the little things, you definitely know how to celebrate the big things, a big sale or a big collaboration with an influencer or a big collaboration with another coach and you're teaming up to create this course or whatever, celebrate it. Because when you know how to celebrate, it's just so much easier to receive it again and do it again and do it again. And it's just so much more fun after that.
Oh my gosh, so good. Because we do, we forget
Yeah.
to celebrate the wins. We tend to look into the future of, okay, here's what I still need to do. Here's what didn't get done.
Mhm.
No, take the time to celebrate every single win, no matter how big, how small, celebrate it because you deserve it. You worked for this. Like you are
Exactly.
so worthy of this.
Exactly.
This was a great conversation. Where can we learn more about you and get into your world?
Oh, absolutely. So, and any social media platform, my handle or my username thing is the same thing. It's Aliza Shane. And if you want to get a little bit more closer to my community, you can definitely join my email list where I share weekly tips, tricks, little fun giggles here and there, stories of how you can position yourself as authority, as that thought leader in your industry. And I send that every Thursday. It's bit.ly/email flicks series. And you will literally be MVP with there because they get everything first before social media gets anything. So yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to connect with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yes. And until next time, stop dreaming and start taking messy action. You've got this. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.